Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Evo 2023 happening right now, giving us big news after big news after big news, not the least of which on the Tekken 8 front. So you can see here, Raven is back. This is not Master Raven like Tekken 7. This is Raven from Tekken 5 and Tekken 6. And he's back better than ever, and as he puts it, his abilities and skills are better than ever, which is great. But we're actually not even here for Raven, as cool as he is. We actually have an all-new character to talk about. So, from the land of Peru, we have an all-new character joining the Tekken 8 roster. So, Tekken 8, we've had a lot of returning characters, but nobody knew just yet, until now, because we have Azucena. And just to head this one off of the past, she's all about coffee. Like, she's literally like Coffee the character. It's her entire reason for being, as far as I can tell. And her playstyle and her martial art is seemingly very energetic, so she's definitely hopped up on that caffeine. So let's take a look at the trailer and break it all down, because there's a lot of fun and interesting things here. She's really cool. Not the least of which is this silly stuff right here. So out of the gate here, Azucena, you can see she's going for some silly stances, right? And when Paul tries to throw out of the stance, boom, big evade. And from the evade, we get a sweep into a little bit of a launch, right? So starting off, that could be something like 1-1, I don't know. We don't know the strings, right? But this stance, and she seems to have a lot of stances, is really big on the evasion, and that seems to be a big part of the character. In our next example here, once again, she does a little bit of a silly step into King. King attempts to hit her, goes for a strike, and then just auto evades, and she gets the side throw in. So it seems to me that she's highly an evasive character. A lot of these stances have auto dodge built into them, and if you do the wrong kind of move, you're gonna get bopped. Here again, very crazy. She goes for something could be like down back 3, and from back turn, she manages to avoid the hit. So if you can't even hit her while she's back turn, like what's going on here? Like she's gonna be so tricky to actually get a hold of. And now here's where it gets crazy to me. So this evasiveness isn't just the actual evades, it's built into her moveset. She has like a straight up sabaki here. Like she eats Brian's punch and then literally like Hajime no Ippo counter punches him and KOs him, and he just falls to the ground like a sack of crap. I'm a very big fan of characters with like defensive properties built into moves, where if you get the hard read, you can just call them out on their crap, right? And I like this a lot. And the silly don't stop. So here we have the evade stance, completely makes Nina whiff her string, goes from a strike from that stance, and looks like on counter hit, and now it creates this like cinematic where she just kind of wheelbarrow stomps you, and well, that's that, isn't it? So it's not necessarily just like auto evades like we've seen from the other stances here. Forcing someone to whiff their buttons, create a situation where they're negative and they want to press, and then this move, whatever the move may be, gets additional cinematic properties and damage, I'm assuming, on counter hit. So it creates a lot of fun situations. So now we can see these stances used to mess with Hwoarang here. So low crush, and then goes for a high crush, and then does the sidestep stance to make him whiff his linear attack. And like, she's probably going to be the hardest character to hit if you can do it right. And after dodging all the strikes, then just like a big F-off kick. More stance shenanigans. So this one's actually interesting. So first off, blocks the attack. Leroy goes for attack here, and she dodges out, as we've seen, and then goes back into stance, but this time it's a strike, not just another auto dodge. Specifically, when Leroy is going for the low here, like the animation is she's kind of jumping between his legs going for the kick. So it may be that certain moves, certain styles of attack, like say low kick, instead of triggering a dodge, trigger an actual like proper counter attack. So from here, cool looking throw, kind of snaps Leroy's neck. And also the stage. The stage has a part to play. So this is her Peru stage, and you can see here we have a ledge break, and we also have a ground break that we'll see in a moment here. So screw extension here, we can see the flip, all that kind of stuff, right? One thing I do like, I heavily associate this kind of kick with Ayane in Dead or Alive, and I like Ayane as a character, so I like seeing these kind of moves. And to finish up here, we got a string ender with a big flying kick that splats out the enemy. Next up, we can see out of Azucena, a power crush that is also a heat engager. So maybe keeping the trend with her being more of a defensive character, as you have the power crush, which is armored naturally, right? And the reward is a heat engager, so that's a pretty big get if you actually get the hit. Following up, some strikes, blocked, but they do chip damage because you're in heat, and then goes into stance, and you can see here now there's attacks out of the stances too. It's not just auto dodges, you can actually offensively follow up. So after this here, we get screw flip stun, and go directly into the heat smash. So you can see the startup with the flames and just a big old wallop, And when the move is done, flames expire, heat is over. Now we get a bit of flavor, so we're breakdancing, we're moving, right? Blowing those pan flutes. And turns out now it's time for the coffee versus tea war. Now myself, I would prefer if she was like a Dr. Pepper character instead of a coffee character. But still, you know, Lily is the exact kind of person who would be offended by the fact that she likes coffee and not tea. Next up, more auto evade stance. So hit stance, seems to hold it because she's now strutting and completely makes Lily whiff. And we get some big punishes too. So a lot more than just the evades. And forgive me for sounding like a broken record at this point, but this is very much the character's gimmick, it would seem. More evasiveness. Now, not the stance evade, but just this kick has the evade built in. She'll dash quickly back, which you can see completely avoids Lily's move, and then bops her with a big old counter hit. Now, this clip is very interesting. So we get the evade like we were seeing here, but a different kind of evade with some special colors. So at the very, very beginning of the clip, she is in heat state, and also in heat state after the hit connects. Every character in Tekken 8 has certain moves keyed that when you do them in heat state, they're just better. So it could be that her evasive properties or evasive moves are better while in heat state, and it leads to all this. We get the ground break, and this being Peru, I guess we're going down into some sort of like Inca temple. Is this the secret of her coffee powers? The glowy bits give it like a little bit of a supernatural presence, so maybe she has supernatural coffee. And the evade train don't stop. So she goes for something like maybe stand 4, back turn leaves her, but back turn evasive stance, low crushes, and then enter stance again. But this time we see those fancy colors because once again, she's in the heat state. And I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm assuming this gives that evade those cool particle effects and this absolutely nasty auto follow up here, splatting Lily. We got stage hazards here too. Don't mess with the Inca, right? We get a hit here and then we go into a heat burst, knock down the enemy. Big wheel kick, which automatically goes into a heat dash, follow up here, and then we splat out the enemy here for the end of the combo. And now, hey, you've seen enough Tekken 8 trailers at this point, right? It's time for the rage art. Now, she's a regular human, maybe like over-induced on coffee, but a regular human, so no lasers this time. But she does have the coffee touch of death. Sorry, Jack, you're not the only person who can finger poke someone to death anymore. But yeah, coffee, 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 coffee. She's all about coffee. After you beat someone up in a forbidden, ancient, forgotten Inca temple, you gotta talk about your coffee. That's how it's done. That's what the pros do. And that's the trailer. Now, I gotta say, for Azucena, I'm legitimately impressed. I like this character. I like the happy stance. I like the flow. I like all these auto time stance moves that like dodge and all that kind of stuff. I like the sabaki that we saw. I like the tricky playstyle that we're seeing here. For an all-new character, I think this is a pretty good all-new character. You know, not everyone has to be a devil Jean character, super serious or whatever. She's the right kind of silly that Tekken needs. And she just kind of looks plain cool, you know, like all these evades going around people, all that kind of stuff. It's just neat. That all said, though, that's it for now. So more Evo coverage to come. There's a lot going on here. Check out the channel. There's going to be a lot of videos, I'm sure. And until next time, well, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Tekken.